Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Divine Being look over us lovingly as a mother and father. May the Divine Being support and nourish us as a mother and father. May we have the strength and skill to study together the art of spirituality. May no misunderstandings arise amongst us. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto us and to all beloved beings everywhere. So we're studying chapter 10 of Swami Vivekananda's Jnana Yoga. This is not a book that he wrote, it's a collection of his talks. This one was given in November 1896 in London. He is leading us toward the inevitability of a very much higher form of religion becoming prevalent in the world. Before we go ahead, are there any questions? Oh, by the way, in case you want to know where we are, Haima posted a chat noting that we're on page 211. 211. Before we go ahead, are there any questions that anyone has about what the Swami has said so far, or anything to contribute from your own wisdom or experience about what is being discussed? All right then.
Brother Shankara,
Yes.
I do have a question.
Okay.
So on page 11, Swamiji says, I will give 10,000 lives if 20 of them will give up their superstition. By superstition, does he refer to our uh, mistaken identity with the body mind, or what exactly is he referring?
Dualistic ideas. He's dealing with dualistic ideas.
Oh, okay.
So the body mind, of course, is one of those dualistic ideas. From the most uh, from the most clear perspective, this body mind is a projection by the Atman for its own purposes into the realm of time, space, and causation. There is nothing dualistic about it, it just seems so to us. So that's what the Swami is referring to. So definitely the body, mind, and all of that is part of, for most of us, for most of our spiritual life, this persists. Um, Being of two minds leaves me so often restless. This cannot go on. O dear Master, take both minds and give me pure love for thee. Being of two minds leaves me so often restless. This cannot go on. O dear Master, take both minds and give me pure love for thee. That's a poem about this dilemma in which we find ourselves. Anything else from anyone?
Thank you, Brother Shankar.
Mhm. All right, we'll start with the reading. Dualistic ideas have ruled the world long enough, and this, the world around them that he was, the civilization that he was in London, and he was speaking about that civilization in which those people, his audience, came from. Dualistic ideas have ruled the world long enough, and this is the result. Why not make a new experiment? It may take ages for all minds to receive monism, but why not begin now? If we have told it to 20 persons in our lives, we have done a great work. Now, you have to be very careful who you talk to about these things, because you will disturb a great deal of dualistic people if you insist on your point of view and tell them that they're wrong. So when the Swami says, if we have told it to 20 persons in our lives, that means you've been very thoughtful and careful about who you have shared this with. But it is, as he says, you have then done a great work. If we have told it to 20 persons in our lives, we have done a great work. There is one idea which often militates against it. It is this: it is all very well to say, I am the pure, the blessed, but I cannot show it always in my life. I'm going to repeat that because it's so very important what he's going to say in response. There is one idea which often militates against this monistic point of view. It is this: it is all very well to say, I am the pure, the blessed, but I cannot show it always in my life. That is true. The ideal is always very hard. Every child that is born sees the sky overhead very far away. But is that any reason why we should not look toward the sky? Would it mend matters to go towards superstition? If we cannot get nectar, would it mend matters for us to drink poison? Would it be any help for us, because we cannot realize the truth immediately, to go into darkness and yield to weakness and superstition? If we cannot get nectar, would it mend matters for us to drink poison? Would it be any help for us, because we cannot realize the truth immediately, to go into darkness and yield to weakness and superstition? Now, the reason the Swami says this is that there are people who make the attempt to have this be a reality in their lives, and then, in a sense, retreat from it. They go back to living dualistically. He says that isn't going to that isn't going to get the job done. And so the Swami says, I have no objection to dualism in many of its forms. I like most of them, but I have objections to every form of teaching which inculcates weakness. This is the one question I put to every man, woman, or child when they are in physical, mental, or spiritual training. Are you strong? Do you feel strength? For I know it is truth alone that gives strength. One question I put to every man, woman, and child when they are in physical, mental, or spiritual training: are you strong? Do you feel strength? For I know it is truth alone that gives strength. I know that truth alone gives life, and nothing but going toward reality will make us strong, and none will reach truth until he is strong. Every system, therefore, which weakens the mind, makes one superstitious, makes one mope, makes one desire all sorts of wild impossibilities, mysteries, and superstitions, I do not like, because its effect is dangerous. Such systems never bring any good. Such things create morbidity in the mind, making it weak, so weak that in the course of time it will be almost impossible to receive truth or live up to it. Strength, therefore, is the one thing needful. And he was speaking about a lot of the things that were prevalent in his day. Of course, the most prevalent then and now is this idea that life is meant to be superficial, that if we are producing and consuming and reasonably financially stable and successful, and we're going along with our life in that way, that is enough. Now, for many, many people, it must be enough because they have not yet had the grace of yearning for liberation. And this is why the Swami called on us in a quiet voice to share it with others. He said, if you've told it to 20 persons in your life, you've done a great work. So are there any questions or comments about what the Swami has said so far? Okay. Duality creates morbidity in the mind, makes it weak, so weak that in the course of time it will be almost impossible for it to receive truth or live up to it. Strength, therefore, is the one thing needful. Strength is the medicine for the world's disease. Strength is the medicine which the poor must have when tyrannized by the rich. Strength is the medicine for the world's disease. Strength is the medicine which the poor must have when tyrannized over by the rich. Strength is the medicine that the ignorant must have when oppressed by the learned. And it is the medicine that sinners must have when tyrannized over by other sinners. And nothing gives us such strength as this idea of monism. Nothing makes us so moral as this idea of monism. Nothing makes us work so well at our best and highest as when all the responsibility is thrown upon ourselves. I challenge every one of you. How will you behave if I put a little baby in your hands? I challenge every one of you. How will you behave if I put a little baby in your hands? Your whole life will be changed for the moment. Whatever you may be, you must become selfless for the time being. You will give up all your criminal ideas as soon as responsibility is thrown upon you. Your whole character will change. So if the whole responsibility is thrown upon your own shoulders, we shall be at our highest and best when we have nobody to grope towards, no evil to lay our blame upon, no personal God to carry our burdens. When we are alone responsible, then we shall rise to our highest and best. So these are the forms of dualism he's talking about. We shall be when we have nobody to grope towards, no devil, I read evil before, no devil to lay our blame upon, no personal God to carry our burdens. When we are alone responsible, then we shall rise to our highest and best. Now, who is this that he's talking to? Is he talking to the body-mind complex? No. The body-mind complex is a vehicle for what he is talking to. He is talking to the Atman. He is talking to that which is referred to when the sage says in the Upanishad, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. Because it is that which has created all of this. That's what he's been asserting all along. All this Maya, all this dualism, certainly this body-mind complex could not possibly have created it. It has not the power to create such a thing. But that which is illimitable, that which is eternal, that which is changeless, has projected all of this. And that's who he says, that's who he's addressing, and says, recognize that you are responsible. You, the Atman, you, the witness being, have done this. It is not someone else. It is not a devil. It is not a personal God. It is you in this monistic form, the one alone that is projecting this. And that's who he's addressing when he says, you are responsible. So any thoughts, any comments, any questions?
So two questions.
Yes?
One is again clarification that so the gunas are part of the Maya that moves the body mind complex.
That's what Krishna tells us.
Okay.
And you know, this is accepted by all the 6 darshanas that make up Sanatana Dharma, the perennial philosophy, that the gunas are the instruments that is used by the divine presence to manifest all of this, to manifest it and continue this endless change and relentless noise that we experience, the noise of our minds, the noise around us. So that was the first question, Swami. What was the second?
The second question was when he says we alone are responsible. So by taking responsibility to stay in that witness state as the Atman.
No. To accept as that witness being that you have done this. You have manifested this body-mind complex. Krishna says it very clearly in chapter 6 in the Gita. You've done this. You, the witness presence, have manifested this action and experience suit for your own purposes, and you witness our experiences, you witness your own experiences and those the experiences of others, and thereby sanction them. In other words, no one else. There's no sin being committed. The Atman is the doer, the only doer. God alone is the doer, but not God like a personal God sitting on a throne somewhere, hurling thunderbolts like Rudra. No, it is that, and that Atman appears to be, look how many people there are here on this screen. We are clearly, in this moment, seemingly separate beings. There's no denying it. It'd just be foolish to say it isn't so. Otherwise, how would we be able to share this? But we have to admit, that's my intention. My being, speaking as the witness, as the Atman. I want to be, create, do, and share. I want that. Otherwise, it would not happen. I want to be being, creating, doing, and sharing. This is a little brief summary of the four things that we do together.
A follow-up question.
Yes?
Does that realization give strength, or is strength the driver towards the realization?
Both. You attain strength by reaching toward it. And as you reach toward it, you find there is this unending well of strength, this artesian spring of knowledge and truth, which gives strength. It is, as the Swami says, it is the truth from which strength arises. That truth is resident in us. It isn't something that we're going to learn tonight from this. We're going to recognize it because it already exists within us. And so this echo from 1896 of Swami Vivekananda's words, They strike us, as he says, a blow. They strike our minds a blow and push aside the veil of ignorance, just enough for us to feel, oh, this is true. This is truth. From that comes the strength to continue our pursuit. Every name on the screen here is familiar to us. Every one. Because we continued together to pursue this. And so our strength comes from the truth that is striking us through the Swami's words. And that gives us the strength to continue on and to go deeper until we no longer see separateness. We see, yes, there's the appearance of separateness, but it's not a reality. It is this one being, creating, doing, and sharing out of its own sweet will. But only that's all that's happening. Thank you, Swam, for asking these questions.
Thank you.
Anything else from anyone? Or anything else further from Swam, for that matter?
No, Brother Shankara, that's it from me for now.
This is what he means when he says we shall rise to our highest and best. Rise on that, as if we're riding on that artesian fountain of truth. When we are alone responsible, when we understand. And chapter 16 of the Gita, the field and its knower, if you want to read again a very concise description by Sri Krishna of how this actually works, it's beautifully described in the field and its knower in the Gita. The field is the field of action that is created by the knower so that there will be something to be known. But there's one, only one. Anything else before we read on? I am responsible for my fate. I am the bringer of good unto myself. I am the bringer of evil. I am the pure and blessed one. We must reject all thoughts that assert to the contrary. I am responsible for my fate. I am the bringer of good unto myself. I am the bringer of evil. I am the pure and the blessed one. We must reject all thoughts that assert the contrary. I have neither death nor fear. I have neither caste nor creed. I have neither father nor mother nor brother, neither friend nor foe. For I am existence, knowledge, and bliss absolute. I am the blissful one. I am the blissful one. I am not bound either by virtue or vice, by happiness or misery. I'm going to read that again because this is the core message. I am responsible. This is to make this your own, is to rise to your highest and best. He's defining what he means by highest and best. I am responsible for my fate. I am the bringer of good unto myself. I am the bringer of evil. I am the pure and blessed one. We must reject all thoughts. Now, what does it mean, reject? Does that mean push them away? No, it does not mean push them away. It does not mean suppress them. It means look at them and say, you are not truth. That's what it means to reject them. This is discrimination. It means to release those thoughts. Reject does not mean push away or suppress. All that means is that we've just watered them with our aversion. No, we just have to recognize them for what they are and say, you are not the truth. And so I will not let you govern my being, my actions. We must reject all thoughts that assert the contrary. And then he quotes from 6 stanzas on nirvana. I have neither death nor fear. I have neither caste nor creed. I have neither father nor mother nor brother, neither friend nor foe. For I am existence, knowledge, and bliss absolute. I am the blissful one. I am the blissful one. I am not bound by either virtue or vice, by happiness or misery, pilgrimages and books and ceremonials can never bind me. Pilgrimages and books and ceremonials can never bind me. I have neither hunger nor thirst. This body is not mine, nor am I subject to the superstitions and decay that come to the body. I am existence, knowledge, and bliss absolute. I am the blissful one. I am the blissful one. So we're just about to come to the close here. Before we do, are there any doubts, concerns, anything you'd like to contribute from your own wisdom about what the Swami has been saying?
Okay, it seems like I have monopoly over questions today.
It's quite all right, Swami, and there's no compulsion for anybody to say anything, and there's certainly no objection to anyone saying anything. So
Okay.
whatever you like.
So, this sentence that we must reject all thoughts that assert the contrary. So, would it be right to say, in a nutshell, the contrary is anything that brings up dualism?
Absolutely. Anything that promotes this idea that that I am not what he says here, and any of these things that say, you know, I he just goes through this long list, which is in this 6 stanzas on nirvana. That's where this can be found. So these are forms of duality. I must reject all thoughts that assert the contrary. Death and birth are dualism. He says, no, you never, the body comes and goes. Krishna explains this so nicely in chapter 2. The body comes and goes. It's nothing but a garment. So you do not die. So there's no death. Fear. What do we, if we don't have any fear of death or have any fear of want, fear of lack, then there's no fear. I have neither caste nor creed. These are dualistic ideas. I have neither father nor mother, nor brother, neither friend nor foe. Does that mean that someone didn't give birth to you in this lifetime? Of course not. That would be absolutely nonsensical to try to say that. It's just that that person is the birth mother of this body, of this field of action. It was born of that parent's desire and your own for there to be this ability to be, create, do, and share. But that doesn't mean that there's any limitation. These are the things that we have to do our manana on. These are where we have to think about these things. I have neither friend nor foe. For I am existence, knowledge, and bliss absolute. I am the blissful one. I am the blissful one. In Sanskrit, Shivoham, Shivoham. I am not bound by either virtue or vice. Again, a dualistic idea. Happiness or misery, dualistic idea. Pilgrimages and books and ceremonials, all part of dualism. I'm here, I want to be there. I have this desire to learn more, so I read a book. Really don't, unless that book delivers some blows to your ignorance, it's just another exercise. Ceremonials, the same. It's not that there's anything wrong with them. It's just that they have no hold on you. As it says, they can never bind me. I have neither hunger nor thirst. Does that mean the body doesn't have hunger and thirst? Of course the body has hunger and thirst. But that's not who he's speaking about. I, the one, have no hunger or thirst. The body is not mine. Of course it's not yours. If it was yours, you could keep it. Can you keep it? No. It will come to the end of its tether. the end of its prarabdha karma, as they say in Sanskrit. It'll come to the end of its momentum and it will fall. If it was yours, you could say, oh no, I'm holding on to this. What a comical idea, huh? The body is not mine, nor am I subject to the superstitions and decay that come to the body. I am existence, knowledge, and bliss absolute. I am the blissful one. I am the blissful one. Now, before we go on to the conclusion, there's just a little bit more. Let's make sure that everybody's fully clear and feeling solid that they have a grasp of what's been said. Anything at all from anyone about what the Swami's been saying or what's been said about what the Swami is saying?
Could you go over one? I'm sure we have gone through this in other classes, but how to water this desire to get to the truth?
Say it again, please, Swayam.
How to water or grow this desire to get to the truth?
Why are you here this evening, Swayam? What is it in you? You know, you have the answer to the question. You are watering this desire for the truth. You are here this evening so that you will hear this truth. And so we don't have to, once we're started down this path, we just have to release those things that are keeping us from moving ahead on this path. That's how, so to speak, we water this desire or encourage this desire for liberation, for the truth, for the truth of that I am Satchidananda, knowledge, existence, bliss absolute.
Thank you.
None of us would be here this evening, none of us, if that desire wasn't there. Why would we spend our time this way? Why would we be involved with this if it weren't for the fact that we have this desire to go beyond where we are and to manifest those truths that the Swami is speaking about? Basically, just one truth in many different ways of saying it. And that is that, it was said so beautifully in the Upanishad. This one is the Chandogya. That thou art Tattvamasi Svetaketu. Tattvamasi, the father says to his son. Anything else from anyone? All right. I am existence, knowledge, and bliss absolute. I am the blissful one. I am the blissful one. This, says the Vedanta, is the only prayer that we should have. This is the only way to reach the goal, to tell ourselves and to tell everybody else that we are divine. Does that mean tell them in words? No, no, no. Manifest it, manifest it. Tell those people who you feel are ready and willing to listen. But otherwise, just manifest it. This, says the Vedanta, is the only prayer that we should have. This is the only way to reach the goal, to tell ourselves and to tell everybody else that we are divine. And as we go on repeating this, strength comes. So there's another answer to your question, Swami. As we go on repeating this, strength comes. He who falters at first will get stronger and stronger, and the voice and he who falters at first will get stronger and stronger, and the voice will increase in volume until the truth takes possession of your hearts and courses through your veins and penetrates your bones. Delusion will vanish as the light becomes more and more effulgent. Load after load of ignorance will vanish, and then will come a time when all else has disappeared and the sun alone shines. As we go on repeating, I am the blissful one, I am the blissful one, and all the other aspects of I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I have neither father nor mother nor all those things. As we go on repeating this, strength comes. He who falters at first will get stronger and stronger, and the voice will increase in volume until the truth takes possession of our hearts and courses through our veins and penetrates our bones. Delusion will vanish as the light becomes more and more effulgent. Load after load of ignorance will vanish, and then will come a time when all else has disappeared and the sun alone shines. Now, this is the kind of promise that the realized soul can make. As I told you, Swami Vivekananda had a realization of Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the highest transcendental state in which consciousness can manifest, in June of 1895. So he was speaking not from textbooks, not repeating the words of some teacher. This promise he is making of his own experience. All ignorance will vanish, and then will come a time when all else has disappeared and the sun alone shines. Anything from anyone? about what's been said, or what it gives rise to you and you, what it gives rise to within you?
Brother Shankara, this is Haima.
Yes, Haima.
He said that I'm the blissful one, I'm the blissful one. And he told us I'm existence, knowledge, and bliss absolute. Don't we have to live the blissful way first to have this, to manifest all this?
No,
Okay. That was my.
no. He says
Mhm.
earlier in this talk, you don't have to live this blissful way first.
Mhm.
It is something that happens as we practice.
Automatically.
And yes, automatically. If we practice faithfully, regularly, dependably. But the way it happens is not volitional. The way it happens is spontaneous
Mhm.
because of our return again and again to these truths, this basic truth. And we will falter. We will fall 1,000 times.
Sure.
We will rise 1,001 times.
You're right.
So, no, we have no idea really when the sun alone will shine for us. We
I
have
agree with
no
him.
idea.
I truly agree with him.
And so we just keep on keeping on. And Swayam used the word water this with our attention. You know, she didn't say water it with your attention. She asked the question, how do we water this? And the answer is with your attention. Keep returning again and again. Rejecting, that is, recognizing and setting aside, not suppressing or rejecting. Not by rejecting is meant setting aside, not suppressing or repressing. That's the word I was looking. Our minds will continue to insist because they have learned so well for so long the lessons of participation and survival in this dualistic frame of reference. And so they'll continue, those thoughts will continue to insist on themselves. And you look at them and say, no, that's not the truth. That is a lower or approximation or fragment of the truth.
Thank you, Brother Shankara. That was good. That was great clarification.
Well, thank you for bringing it up.
Mhm.
Anything else from anyone? All right, well, that concludes chapter 10. Next week, we'll take up chapter 11. What is the title, Haima, of chapter 11?
It's the cosmos.
Say it again.
The cosmos. Cosmos.
The cosmos? Okay.
The cosmos. The macrocosm. Delivered in New York, 19th January, 1896.
Okay, would you say the words again, or even spell
Oh,
the start?
sure. The cosmos is the topic next time. And underneath it said the macrocosm.
Okay, so the cosmos.
Yes, the cosmos.
Yeah.
It was delivered in New York, 19th January, 1896. That is the chapter we're going to start next.
Interesting.
Yes.
So he's going to tell us about
Universe.
all the time, space, and causation
Right.
illusion,
Yes. Thank you.
macrocosm. But what he'll insist on is that the macrocosm and the microcosm are identical. They are not two things, they are one thing. And that the cosmos is the divine presence, as the divine presence manifests. Sri Ramakrishna says it this way: Shiva and Shakti, or Brahman and Kali, they are identical. Brahman, or Atman, Nirguna Atman, is water still. Shakti, or Kali, is water in waves. Same water. When the vibration of the gunas being out of equilibrium occurs, then we have this manifestation. And that's all it is. Anything else, dear?
Brother Shankara, I struggle to stay with this when when I'm doing my mantra or reading or listening. Obviously, it's much easier, but if I'm not doing any of these things, sometimes it's very hard to stay with it.
Yes, this Swami says it will take some time. We're talking about years. But years to us, we think that 40 years is a long time. 40 years is no time at all. It's just a wink. And we have I mentioned the words 40 years because that's how long Sri Ramakrishna's teacher of Advaita, of this non-dual frame of reference, Totapuri, said it had taken him 40 years. And he began as a stainless child. I mean, he had whatever he brought with him, as we all do. But Totapuri, it took him 40 years to manifest this non-dual. Now we have an incredible resource, a spiritual treasure in Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, Vivekananda, and Swami Brahmananda or Raja Maharaj. Does that mean that they are somewhere outside of us? No. Their spiritual treasure, which they instill in us from inside, exists within us. A real argument can be made that that's why you're here this evening. As Christ said, ye have not chosen me, I have chosen you. Who is the I? The I is that divine presence. The I has chosen each of us to be in the presence of Vivekananda here tonight. Anything else, dears? All right. Until next week, or the next time we have an opportunity to get together, will be on Saturday when we're studying Swami Prabhavananda's talk on mystic visions or superconsciousness. That's Saturday, 11 to noon. And then this coming Sunday, the talk will be on self-discovery, self-actualization, self-realization. So next week we'll take up the cosmos with Swami Vivekananda on Wednesday night. Any final thoughts from anyone? Okay. Om Hari Om. Om Sato Ma Satkamaya. Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya. Mutyorma Ammutangamaya. Abir Moiti. Oh, dearly beloved, lead us from this place of endless change and relentless noise to thine abode of serenity, silence, and peace. Lead us from darkness and ignorance to the brilliance of thy wisdom and love. Lead us from death to immortality. Light us through and through. Light us through and through with thy everlasting, shining presence. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji Ki Jai, Durga Durga Durga. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be cheerful. May you have peace of mind. May you go forward in the loving and protective embrace of the Divine Being as our Mother and Father. Good night, all.
Thank you, Brother Shankara. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Hari Om. Good night.
Hari Om. Good night.
Good night.